Doc Ock was so fucking good.
Yeah, it's never on.
And so, like, when I think about like somebody else playing that character or some other interpretation of that character, it's very hard to like. As much as you don't want to, it's still very hard not to say, well, I'm gonna have to compare that to Alfred Molina, because that's the best version that you could possibly do.
Yeah, it's like Kingsley as the Vulture, right? I mean, like, that's who you want. And Kingsley would have pulled off the Vulture perfectly.
Yeah.
And we all knew that. He looks like the fucking Vulture, for Christ's sakes.
Oh yeah, I mean that was like spot on casting.
Yeah,
if that would have been done.
Molina was he was so good as Ock. I mean, like, talk about someone that just encaptured the character from the comics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And probably a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, not only did he breathe him to life, but then you felt bad for the guy at some point.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, wow. Really good.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the best interpretations of like I said, I mean, just flat out, I mean, that's like, it's probably in my top 3 or 4 comic book movies.
Uh-huh.
Like, I mean, like, to give the in no particular order, I mean, you're probably talking the first Avengers movie, The Dark Knight, Infinity War, Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
As far as like just being that fucking good.
It was good.
Yeah,
it was real good. I don't know. Yeah. There's a lot of exciting things on the comic horizon. So,
there are.
But are they going to get made? You know what I mean? I mean, we're going to get it. We're going to get into some Adam Warlock shit going on. I don't know. There's a lot of exciting things happening. I just, after seeing this, out of the new stuff that's come out, Marvel's ending and Spider-Man's kind of creeping along here, but I don't want that kid to go anywhere. I've come accustomed to him now, and I like his character. Yeah,
exactly. I'm right there with you on that.
Do I think his character needs to grow a little? Yeah. He can't be playing the 15-year-old kid anymore.
Right.
I mean, I think time has to catch up here. Where he's 18, 19, 20. I don't want the kid going anywhere because I think he's pulling off Spider-Man great.
Yeah.
His stunt, like the stunts as well. I mean, he's doing his own stunts. I mean, the kid's got chops. But the thing that pisses me off is we're so interconnected with Marvel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I want to see him in Venom.
Yeah.
But I also want to see these other characters come to life.
Well, you very well may, though. Like, I mean, like I said, I don't know what. Like, I'm very intrigued to see what Morbius is going to show us as far as like the crossing of the streams between Sony and Marvel.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what's interesting to me is like, so if Morbius is in the same universe as Venom, at some point are we going to see Venom with the spider logo on him?
Right.
At some point, do we get a Spider-Man versus Venom movie?
And are we going to get Hardy for Venom?
Yeah.
Because I thought Tom Hardy was fucking fantastic.
I mean, Tom Hardy's Tom Hardy, But
I know, but I thought he was good.
Yeah.
He played Venom, and he played that part well.
Yeah.
Is he bigger than Spider-Man? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. But
I mean, there's a lot of questions on like what's that crossover that they're able to do, or I'm very intrigued to see how this all plays out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's the key. Like it's like how is this all going to connect or disconnect? You know.
So excuse me.
It's like, do we get Tom Hardy, but do we get him, or not Tom Hardy, Tom Holland is Spider-Man, but we get a different version of Spider-Man. Like, so there isn't a crossover.
Right.
You know, but since Sony owns the rights, they can do this. Like, I'm very intrigued by that.
Yeah, I think it would be suicidal for Sony to really fuck it up. But at the same point, you know.
But they were willing to.
That was a stalemate.
They were willing to walk
money.
away, though. Well,
they wanted money.
They wanted money, but they were willing to walk away.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's.
Hey,
that's the funny thing is,
mouse, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, Tom Holland made that happen, but I mean, like, yeah, the mouse stepped up. You know.
No, I realized Tom Holland made it happen, but they still stood up to the mouse.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, you know, you're gonna pay us.
Yeah.
You're using our character in your fucking movie. You're gonna pay us.
It's the funny thing was, like, I think Spider-Man's the only characters out there that they don't own the rights to. And they'll never get them.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Who owns Blade?
Marvel does now.
That
was owned by New Line. New Line gave up those rights a long time ago.
Yeah. Hulk was Paramount, right?
Yeah, like Paramount. I think the Hulk is in that same situation. Like, I think you're right. Like, Paramount still technically owns the rights to the Hulk, but they're not planning on doing anything with them, and they're just like leasing them out to Marvel. But like, you'll never see a solo Hulk movie. Like, Marvel can't do that, but they can put him in their other projects, which is why like they had to incorporate Planet Hulk into Thor.
Right.
You know. All right, ready?
Yep.
All right. Well, one last bit of news.
All right.
I know this hits your household very hard. At the end of his documentary series, The Last Ride, The Undertaker announced that he is retiring from professional wrestling.
I know.
That his match at WrestleMania against AJ Styles was his last match.
Yeah.
How was that taken in your home?
Sad.
Sadness?
Yeah, sadness. Well, by least, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the girls were sad too, but I mean, that character was important for her. So.
30 years that dude's been doing it.
It's been time.
Yeah.
That dude's broke. Not broke financially, but broke.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the great thing about this last match was it was a cinematic match, which is something you can only get away with in this time period. Yeah. Because of the no fans in the arenas. And so, they were able to do this like cinematically and with cuts and edits and make it look like a great match.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, I mean, this dude should have, hung this up maybe 5, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, he's broken.
Yeah. Like, the Undertaker you remember and the Undertaker I saw were two very different people,
Sure.
And it's a shit. I mean, here's a guy that, like, for years, like, was one of the top guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was right there. Always, like, when he was a full timer, like, always part of like the top line storylines and stuff like that. He was always top of the card or near the top of the card. He was never a guy that like went away. He was always there. And like, even going into like when he became a part-timer and only showed up for WrestleMania season, it was still like that match was like the match you wanted to see. Like, who was the Undertaker facing, and the streak and everything else that was involved with it. And it's like one of those things where, like, it's rough seeing what he became, because he became an old man, an old broken man because of, how much time he spent on the road. But I'm glad he was able to find peace.
Yeah, he was almost like, especially in the early days when I watched wrestling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was almost like the Alice Cooper of of wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he brought that element that was just like, I don't know.
Like coming out of an era of like the goofy gimmicks.
Yeah.
Like, so many like just bad, like, the one guy was a pig farmer and another guy was he was the trash man and the repo man and like all like the bad gimmicks like that. He found a way first off to make it initially work, as the Undertaker, but then found ways to make the character evolve.
Right.
There was at one point like it was like he was like a Satanist, like with a a leader of a cult, and then there was like the American badass version of the Undertaker, like it was like
Which
always
didn't
like
go well in this house.
oh I love that version of him though.
I know Lisa did not like that version.
No, I'm sure, but he found ways to make the character interesting though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the character was always evolving and changing, and it didn't stay stale. But what was also interesting though is like he never broke character.
Right.
Like he was the Undertaker.
I know.
And like which is fascinating. And then you get to like this Last Ride documentary, and so many people were upset that he did break character. And the documentary is presented as him as Mark Calloway, the person, not the Undertaker, the character. And him reminiscing and talking and looking back on his career, and at the end of it finally coming saying, "I've found peace. This was my last match. I'm satisfied with how this has ended." And that was like to me, like I wish I could watch it. I'd like to watch it. I don't want to give the WWF my $10 a month to get the network, Yeah. But at the same time, like I'd like to see this documentary because it sound from everything I've heard about it was a very, very interesting look. Like a peek behind the curtain at who this person is as a person. And I've seen other interviews where he's done this now. Like he did an interview with Pat McAfee, and he's done it with like ESPN and a few other shows, like as Mark Calloway talking about his career. And he's a fascinating person to listen, because he's been there so long. He's worked with so many people that to hear him talk about it is actually rather fascinating.
Sure. It's a gather around the learning tree.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I still love his tombstone though, man.
Oh yeah.
When he gets someone in that tombstone and he crosses their arms for the pin.
Yeah.
It's so badass, dude.
That was.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's wicked. I mean, that's like I don't know. That's like stamp marked Undertaker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like that like the folding of the arms for the pin, that was like one of those trademarks. But the other trademark was always like the sit up.
Yeah.
Like you think you'd have him down, and he would just sit straight up like he was sitting up out of a casket.
Yeah, like Dracula.
Like Dracula, yeah. And you'd just be like, oh shit. Like it was like his version of hulking up. Like Hogan used to do. But it was like that sit up, and you just be like, oh shit, it's on.
I still can't get that shit from Hogan, the hulking up.
Oh.
Out of my head. Oh, it's so bad.
That shit was the worst. And people went nuts for it.
I know.
Like it hit it like shaking, and it'd take the hit and it point, and like you're just like, and shaking his head. You're just like, what the fuck? Oh, this is bad. But people ate that shit up for years.
I know they did. I liked him better as Thunder Lips.
Well, yeah,
How badass was he in that Rocky movie? I mean, come on.
That's phenomenal. I mean, I know somebody who actually they were down in Tampa. They went to the Hogan. Hogan has a store where you can buy Hulk Hogan shit.
Yeah.
But he was selling a replica of the Thunder Lips belt.
No way.
Yeah, so I know somebody who actually has a replica from of that world title belt from